There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Oh, we had a great conversation earlier.
We did. What a tom-tom.
What a tom-tom.
What a tom-tom to be alive.
I'm talking about before we went on the air.
Oh,
right
okay.
Now. So it's almost like I almost don't want to talk about great topics with you now because we save them for the podcast.
Yes.
But as we were deliberating about prior to, that's what we enjoy about the podcast, because this is us talking about these subjects for the first time.
Yes.
And when we make an agreement to talk about something, if this is going to be the subject, then we stop talking about it. And we don't talk about it till we do the podcast because we don't want to rehash something we said.
As boring as this may be, it is not contrived.
That's
I
right.
assure you.
Boring.
I'm just saying, what anybody may think of our podcast.
Should I have invited Mr. Fudge tonight?
If Heath comes again, I'm going to just sit to the side and watch and not show up, because those podcasts are so boring.
Oh, now.
It's like an old wrestling squash match with Heath. It's like watching like 1985 WWF.
It's Arn Anderson in his golden years putting someone in a headlock for 15 minutes?
No, it's like the good guy beats up the one guy, gets a punch in and he just beats on him for 3 minutes, or the good guy gets a kick and like a drop kick in and the heel beats him for 3. Heath will talk. It just exhausts me. He does not know back and forth. It is for a guy that liked to play tennis. He does not know how to play tennis in a conversation.
In the notes for public radio, one of the notes they had for us is 45 seconds. You talk before someone else breaks in.
Yep.
45 seconds is the good cutoff time for someone else to take over to keep the conversation moving and
get
lively.
rhythm.
Isn't that something? 45. I'd never heard that before. I was in radio. I never heard 45. But if you think about it, that's about right. That's plenty of time to get your story off, or to have someone comment in the middle of a story.
Yeah, get it going.
Yeah.
Not make your point and then say, let me put another coat of paint on that.
That's great. So should we implement the 45-second rule?
He would not show up. He can't even get a thought to his lips in 45
So a
seconds.
time clock in baseball was wrong, and a time clock for Mr. Futch is...
He needs a pitch clock, yes.
He needs a pitch clock?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do one. We're going to do one for him. So the next one I want to talk about, we're talking about outdated technology here. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it out there. But one of them, you actually worked for a store that sold outdated technology today. Did not you work for Beepers Unlimited?
It was called Metro Call at that time.
Pardon me, but Metro Call. But didn't it sell beepers?
It was beepers. It was the dying days of beepers, and it was right when people were getting phones that they had to sign some ridiculous contract for that we thought was ridiculous then, and it was very much the dying days of that and the beginning of cellulars. Yeah.
So the beeper was the thing that I thought was really cool if someone had a beeper. Doctors had beepers, always with them. Nurses, who at pharmacists. And if your beeper went off, they needed you at work. It's like the bat signal.
Correct.
Electronic bat signal.
Yes.
And so you'd go for it. You'd run off because you had to find a phone to call and see what's up. If your kid got a beeper, that means you were walking around the mall all day and your mom wanted to know when you were coming home or where you were at. So if the beeper went off, that's mom.
Correct.
Telling you to get on a payphone and call and tell her what's going on, or it's time for you to get picked up.
Or we thought you were a drug dealer.
Or you were a drug dealer.
One of those small circle of ideas.
But they had different colors.
Yes.
Different styles.
Translucent.
You could put beepers in cases.
You could buy a beeper in a Sears catalog.
You could buy a beeper in a Sears catalog.
Yeah.
But beepers used to be the thing before everyone had a cell phone.
Correct.
Because that wasn't the thing back then. You had a beep, and not everyone had a beeper. I never had a beeper. And speaking of cell phones. Before there were cell phones, there was something else in the 90s called a car phone.
A bag phone.
It was in a bag. It sat in between the two captain's chairs in the front usually. It plugged into your cigarette lighter for power, and they drilled into your roof a new whopping steel rod antenna that would go along with your car to see to pick up this car phone signal. And I never had a car phone, but if my friend did, and I didn't know he was rich. That was almost like you had to be rich to have a car phone.
I think talking on a car phone back then was like talking on your cell phone now with your windows rolled down, holding the phone away from you on the interstate, doing about 75 miles an hour.
Wasn't the most pleasant experience, but you press the buttons, and then you'd have to hit send.
It sounded just very frantic on a bag phone.
The first time I ever used a car phone, maybe the only time, I don't remember, but we were back in the day. We didn't have pagers. There was a payphone everywhere, but we were just told if our baseball game ended early, you sit there and wait for your mom. And you always saw this on baseball fields. Mm-hmm. You always saw some kids sitting on the bleachers waiting for their mom and dad to pull up and pick them up. And you were going off. You say bye, and you felt bad for them because the lights were turned off, and their mom and dad, the deadbeats, still weren't there. Well, mom was running behind, and everyone had left. The game had ended early. Sometimes you just don't know how long games are going to go, so we have to sit there and wait. And so one of the dads goes, "Hey, why don't I just take y'all home?"
It was a different time when you were not always available for everything.
I stayed off getting a cell phone for years because I didn't believe in someone being able to get in touch with me 24/7.
I used to not bring my phone in the gym until I had to.
Took my regular phone off the hook.
Listen to music with it.
I took my regular phone off the hook at 12, just in case anyone was drunk and wanted to drunk dial me or just call me out of the blue, because I wanted my peace and quiet. And I wouldn't plug it back in till the moment I woke up. So if you're trying to get a hold of me,
you'd gotten through all your shows, you had
sleeping through on a Saturday morning or whatnot, that thing went unplugged. But the thing is, though, with the car phone, anyway, long story short, he says, "Can I take you home?" I was like, "Well, I don't have a quarter because you have to use the payphone. I got to call mom." He said, "It's all right. You can call her on my car phone." And I was like, bleh. So I got to call on a car phone, very excited. It started ringing. And this is it. I was excited. Did you hear me? Because I'm in a car. And I said, "Hey, Mom." She went, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Mr. Brewer's car." I'm on the car phone. I was like so excited. I was giddy. Because to be on a phone while you're driving is something you saw in the movies.
Right.
That was Wall Street.
I was going to say the same thing.
That was Wall Street. You were living. You were Gecko.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who I was, and I was smooth silver tongue gorilla and everything. I was so excited to be talking, and that is foreign now to people, but we were super excited to do that, and had to hit send. Had to hit that send, that green button, and then you had to hit end, the red button. And my mom was like, "Get off the car phone. It costs like $2 a minute or whatever." Right. And I was like, "Is there anything else you want to talk about?" I mean, I was just like super excited.
Yeah.
I wanted the conversation to go on, but Mom was like, okay, I won't come. Because she was about to come out the door. So car phones used to be the thing too, but not everyone, and that was the question was, I didn't believe that someone should be able to get in touch with me 24/7. So I was one of, when was it when I got a cell phone? 2005. It was 2005, and only because at that time I was trying to get a job, and I did not want to miss their call, but I didn't want to sit by the phone all day.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and I knuckled up, got my cell phone, and said, "Here's my cell phone number if you need to call me."
Right.
And that was just easier, so that way you wouldn't. But remember, you didn't want to miss a call. You'd sit by the phone all night. Sometimes they never called. Depending on who you're trying to get to call you back or whatnot.
Sadly, I know that feeling.
Speaking of phone calls, though, there is also something that we had that we rarely use at all, is answering machine.
Yes.
I have an answering machine story that I'm not allowed to talk about, but
yeah.
And moving on. But I've had some great. I used to say was we had you could delete the message or save it.
Yeah.
We saved our favorites.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
You did that. Okay. Obviously, were
like bad phone calls.
You were on there.
Yep.
Another one, I remember his name was Joseph. It was my roommate Roger's cousin. We kept his on there. one from Bruce's dad, which cracked me up.
Which is similar to the one that my dad, when he called and he was talking to Flip, where Bruce's dad says, "I love you," or whatever.
Bruce's dad went, "Bruce, this is your mother. Don't forget to call this Sunday." He
it.
got mixed up because it was Mother's Day.
Right.
And then you hear Miss Lowell in the background, "Mother? Why'd you say you were his mother?" He goes, and he hangs up the phone. But it was just great to hear that aggravation in his voice. He just screwed up. And the other one was someone we had caught red-handed, and she did not want that going out to everyone.
I remember that story too.
And that was the best. And the thing is, we kept that answering machine for years, and now we don't know what happened to it. And even if we did, the tape probably ruined it anyway.
Yeah.
But I would give anything to listen to those old answer machine ones, because that one, it was a scared voice. Hey guys, I heard y'all stop by, and I wasn't there. So yeah, call me before. Please don't tell anyone. Just call me. I can just complain. And we're like, yeah, dude, she's so in trouble. But you'd keep your favorite messages and listen, and you'd play them for friends and laugh.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
Yep.
There's not a single voicemail I'm going to play for anyone that's going to be funny. Or
it's like a reaction video that's not contrived. Like, this is something that happened.
I like that analogy. That's exactly right. And we talked about this because there's a video of our old mall that someone went through. Some genius got a new camera from his daddy and we just wanted to record stuff.
Yes.
Which was brilliant for us because he had a time cap. He just unintentionally created a time capsule.
Yes.
And the thing is, I wonder how many other VHSs are out there that are dying that have the same type of footage.
Yeah.
Because you just walk around. If you had your dad's camera, you'd walk around with it, record all sorts of crap.
What I hate that with the legality of that, like, this guy has had to go back in and edit different music over the music that's playing in the mall.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Because you can tell it's like something he has been overdubbed over it. And it's just like, man,
that's too sad. That's too sad, because it would have been nice to hear that Errors music too.
Yeah.
But one thing that I noticed on it is people used to jump in front of the camera who you didn't know and wave. I did that too. We all did. Because it was just like, oh, how unique. Someone is recording, filming. So let me just pop in as my weird self. Everyone, adults were doing it. Kids were doing it. Everyone waved the camera as they walked by.
It was like when you would go see, for us, if we went to wrestling and went to a TV taping, they would be like, we'd be like, I'm going to wear white because white's going to get picked up in the crowd quicker.
Yeah.
Or, that kind of stuff. Like, it was a thing, but now, who cares? Everybody's filming everybody.
Everyone's filming everything.
And it really takes any kind of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, now when you see someone...
You almost feel penalized. You're like,
now when you see someone recording themselves or doing something, you just want to get out of the picture. You don't want to be associated with it.
Yeah, this makes me sick.
It's a completely different reaction from what we had 30 years ago, which I find intriguing. And see, I'd forgotten about jumping. Strangers waving at your camera and then walking away.
Yeah.
I forgot that even happened. And then watching that boy walk through the mall, there's a billion people. Hey, oh, kid. I was like, what? And then laughing with his friends and going off. I was like, that's right. That happened all the time.
Yeah.
And it just totally slipped my mind. But like I said, the novelty was someone was record. They had a recorder. And you didn't have many people that have it. I used to love my recorder. I used to record everything. You go out to visit your friends one night. Get the camera. What's going on? Yeah. And, that was a neat thing. Now, I don't record. I wish I should be recording my kids as they're getting older. I want those recordings of them young and everything. But no, what do? We have it on. We took it on our phone. We uploaded it to Facebook, and then we deleted it from the phone from memory.
It's in the cloud.
And the same thing with pictures. You used to go and develop your pictures, and then you didn't get to see what those pictures on that vacation looked like until a week later. You didn't get to look at
an hour later,
or if you went to the Hour Express when you got home.
Yeah,
when you got home, so you're like, oh no, the overexposure, or it didn't take, or it double exposed or something. And that was my best picture. I didn't get a picture of that fish or whatever.
Yeah,
and now you can check it immediately and see if you got it. And plus, you're not going to print it out. You're going to post it on Facebook. Oh, yeah, you post it on your social media or whatnot.
Well, I will say, as far as pictures,
please,
the filtering thing of that is so...
it started off as a cute thing, like give me
Gross.
sparkle eyes, give me this, just a little filter, and now it's just
so like, let me draw my cheek in, let me make my chin. It's just like, come on.
you know what? I didn't notice that till the prior decade. In between, it was like the 2015, 2016. I noticed people were because someone says, "Oh, dude, she's hot," and showed me a picture. I went, "That isn't her. That's somewhat her. That's a really good picture of her." And then I said, "Hey,"
it takes the idea of a glamour shot to a whole Star Trek level.
And I found out she had layered filters over it to make her appear much more thinner.
Right.
And other things.
Trim spa, baby.
Trim spa and and then get the eyes a little bit better. And I was like, oh, okay. So the skin a little bit smoother. And I didn't notice that. So it's its own world of catfishing in a way.
It is. And we're all just involved in it now.
I couldn't imagine going on a dating site and saying, oh, look at this girl. I'll swipe left or right or whatever. And you find out she looks nothing like her picture. Or her picture was taken years ago, and that was even touched up.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's just like, oh, hi. I was looking for someone else, unfiltered version of you. But that kind of has changed a lot. But just going, and of course, there are no 1 hour photos. You can still get developed at, I think, Walmart and drugstores.
Well, if you're talking about pictures, what I think is something that you would go into. Kids our age in the 80s, you would go to someone's house, and I would think you probably in the 90s too, because you had like Sears Portrait Studio and stuff still going. You would have like a family portrait, and it would be old, and it would be
no one takes family portraits anymore.
Like you would be like 16, and like your friend is 16, but in this picture that's in their house, they're 6. And it's like the grand picture in their house.
Yeah, it's the centerpiece in the living room. Of all y'all together, and the ones I've seen, they're all on the beach wearing their white T-shirt and blue jeans.
No, this is like portrait studios where they're like the dad is like in a.
Oh yeah, we did those. I've seen those too.
Tucked in for the one time a year.
We have older photos of mom, dad sitting down and us standing around them all night because you went to do the photo part. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, you don't see those anymore.
You don't. And you'd see them through the years because they took an annual one.
Well, some of them you wouldn't see. That's what I'm saying. It's not you wouldn't see it. This is like the one time they did it.
Wow.
And it would be like old. And the frame is old. Yeah. It's overly like brassy or...
Yep.
Like it just everything looks like dated. Like it's like, what? Who are these people? And that's like, oh, that was us.
The picture's faded over time.
That was my sister's when she turned 16 and I was, 11. And then like my brother is 6. And it's like just this generational gap of odd time.
I didn't have that one listed down. And that is a great point there. The portrait is gone. I haven't even realized that, but you're exactly right.
Here's another joke about family portraits.
Please proceed.
So I remember going to my folks. I was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8. And I said, this is like when you start going to people's house. And I remember going to them and asking, why don't we have like a family portrait like everybody else does? Little did I know the reason we didn't have a family portrait is because everyone in the house hated each other. So getting them organized and smiling
was not going to work.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That wasn't going to fly there.
Not in this house.
Now, did Brandon ever get a family portrait?
That would be a heck of a picture if he's got one.
I would pay money.
Yes.
To see it.
Yes.
Maybe we should ask it. That should have been one of the questions in the box.
Yes,
What's your family portrait look like?
Those were so PG. He got off so lucky.
He did get lucky the last time. We'll hit him hard with our special ones.
He was so like Mayberry, Andy Griffith on that episode versus
he coming down hard.
A problem child.
All right, so got a few more here. One that is never used anymore, even though I've kept one, is an alarm clock.
I had an alarm clock until less than a year ago.
Did you really?
Yes.
Interesting. The last one I had one when I had my cell phone, but cell phones weren't alarm clocks back in the 2005s. It was mainly the 2010, 11, when they went away for me. But I had a CD alarm clock. It would play a CD, and I liked that. but it would only play the first track on it. Was the only problem.
I can't even set the alarm on my phone. Like when I moved in with
I love
Caitlin
this.
about a year ago, I remember plugging up my alarm clock. She goes, "Why do you have an?" She'd already asked me why I have an alarm clock, but
That's not-
she's like,
She never said.
and I'm like, maybe I do need to get rid of this.
Did you? So you got rid of it last year?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's something special about the alarm clock because I hated that. I hated that. But you could flip it to turn on the radio to turn when it came on.
Yeah, it was not. Mine was
And-
just a. It would play like a jingle or something. It was
Yeah.
not an antiquated old one. The
Okay.
idea of it was.
But you
just
still had it.
antiquated.
Yeah. That you
Yes.
said the. I love how
Yes.
Caitlin goes, "What is that? What is that? An alarm clock?"
Right. As opposed to her nightstand that's got God knows what on it.
So for anyone who says Cobra Kai is unrealistic when Johnny doesn't know this, they haven't met Wes and his alarm clock that he just retired last year.
Correct.
Was this because of Caitlin? Did Caitlin finally show you how to program your cell phone?
If we have to have an alarm on a phone, it's going to be on hers.
her phone.
Because she has 4 alarms that go off in the morning. Every 5 to 10 minutes. Where she slowly
My wife.
gets...
My wife sets an alarm to go off about 45 minutes before she has to wake up.
You know,
and then it goes off every 15 minutes.
That's got to... I don't know... I can't say that I've shared a bed with another man and heard his alarm go off. But I don't know any other men who set alarms the way women do. That is something totally different. Possibly so.
Okay.
But
that is what she does.
The alarm, like it is just, and I'm like, how are you not hearing it if I'm hearing it?
No,
It's
here's the
not
thing.
even my
Here's
alarm.
Here's the thing. Once my sleep is spoiled, it's hard for me to go back, especially when I know that it's about time to wake up. I can't go back to sleep now. But the thing is, though, why would you ruin it?
Can I say something? Can I get off subject? Can I just talk about her for a minute?
Absolutely.
So a few days ago, her alarm went off, and she said, "Do you want to get up and go to the other bed?" Like, it was like, do I want to get up? I'm up. The alarm has woke me up now. The get up and go to another bed is what happens before this ever happened. And the fact that that was given as an option was
After the fact.
so insulting. I just got up. I'm like, no, I don't want to go do this. But like that was like a peace offering to her. She's like, oh, well, do you want to get up and try to go back to sleep?
Yeah.
Like,
wake yourself up further
yeah, walk through the house.
so you don't have to hear my chime in 5 more minutes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked her, why do you do that? She went, well, I need that much time to wake up. How? How on earth? How on earth? When I'm up, I'm up. I'm laying in bed. I may be grumpy if I woke up early, but I'm up now. I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Like it was last Saturday, I think. My wife said, well, I came out of bed. It was 9 o'clock. She said, well, look who finally woke up. I've been up since 7 o'clock when I heard the, what was it? The Hard Knock Life for the 15th time by my girls singing at the top of their lungs. I've been up since 7. But the thing is, though, I just didn't want to get out.
Right.
And I laid there and then checked email and whatnot on my phone. And then finally decided to get out of bed. But I was already, sleep was already gone by 7. There's no way I was going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I'd already woken up. The same thing with the stupid alarm when it goes off at 5:30. You don't have to get up, or 5:15. You don't have to get up till 6.
So I guess that's our question at the end of this podcast when you give everybody homework. Is there any men that listen to this podcast that set
We won't mock you. I want to know.
Within a 30-minute span.
Do you do that? Do you have multiple alarms going off throughout the night? I mean, throughout the early morning, just to kind of prep you to wake up?
Yes.
And if you don't, does your wife?
Yes.
Because that's amazing. Because that's exactly what she does. That's exactly what my wife does. I don't understand it. That means you must want to wake up that early. Because there's no reason. I have one alarm, and when it goes off, I get up. I don't want to at times.
It's like
but I
someone
get up.
took logic and just tore it up and threw it down, and someone else picked it up and misspelled it. It's so frustrating. It's like,
that is.
what planet are you? Who taught you this is the way?
I don't know where that comes from either. I don't. I am now curious. That is the curious question I want to know from everyone.
You know, if you're when you were in school and school let out at 3:00, you did not get an alarm at 2:30 that school was going to be let out in 30
schools get out in 30 minutes. Hey, schools get out in 20 minutes. 10 more minutes till school
because
gets
it
out.
throws you off. At that point, you're thinking about, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So the same principle is here for getting up.
The moment I'm laying in bed, my sleep is gone. It's evaporated. Now I'm just pissed because now I can't go back to sleep because now I know, even I'm tired, and maybe I could, but no, I know in 30 minutes I got to get up anyway now.
You're going to feel worse waking up again.
What's the point at that point?
Yeah.
Yep. I feel the same way. All right. So we may or may not get to these, and that's all right. But the next one I had, it took me by surprise. This is one I had to look up because I couldn't remember the name of it. A PDA Palm Pilot. Did you have one?
I did not. Those were just...
That was before the smartphone. You had a PDA Pilot that you had your little stylus pen. Everyone loved doing the stylus pen, and they put their notes. That was where your address book, your new electronic address book was. The list of phone numbers you need to remember. The list of whatever. The grocery store list was on there.
I just feel like that came across to me that guys that had that, it just seemed kind of not. I don't know if douchey is the right word for it.
It was. I want attention.
Yeah,
I want people to think I'm important.
Just write it down.
I had people who lived and died by their Palm Pilot. I remember someone gave me, at the time they were doing the cheap versions, so someone gave me a cheap one for Christmas. And I remember thinking, okay, and I use a little bit, but I was like, I'd rather just use a sticky note for this.
It's so gimmicky.
It didn't feel like I was using it that much.
And it didn't react well. Like, you're kind of pecking at it in a very,
sometimes you couldn't do it. But the stylus made you look very important. I think it was more for. I agree. It was more of a douchey device there.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. And I say that, and maybe someone's like, "Hey, I love my Palm Pilot back in the." Maybe you did. Well, yeah. Let us know. I want to know about any of the technology we're talking about.
I love my T-shirts with skulls on it, but people still say I look douchey in it. So it is what it is.
And then, as the Walkman went away,
you love a Walkman. You always talk about.
I do talk about Walkmans, but as the Walkmans went away, you had the MP3 player. Where the iTunes, the what was it called? The iMac, what was it called? The one that gave you music. You did iPods. Yeah, iPods. And those things started coming out where you could download music into this little itty bitty device.
Heath Fudge could talk 8 minutes on this.
He had those. That was his big. See, because
He could tell you a story about how excited he was, where he bought it at. What songs he put on it, how disappointed he was when it didn't work and it crashed and he wanted to give up on life.
I had a lot of that. I had one that just didn't work as well, and then another off-brand that worked decently. That worked for a little while, but I also carried
one.
I also remember carrying the portable CD player in this little belt packet and going to work out. But you couldn't run on the treadmill with that stupid thing.
I can believe that.
It'd skip. I wasn't the only one there, but
I can believe that.
The MP3 I thought was neat because you could get a lot of music on that tiny little device.
Yeah.
But that was quickly passed by. Then when streaming music, now you can listen to.
You
want to
talk about something that's we don't use or has taken over. Like, I remember for years working out in the gym and not wearing headphones, and now you can't go into the gym and not wear headphones.
Yeah, everyone's got headphones. That's true. That's true.
Like in 2000, I think
but now they're doing
2010 maybe.
The pods, just the little wireless pods. But now I see people with the big earmuffs on now again.
Yeah, I think that's people that just want to look a
certain style. Yeah, but I see a lot of that now in the gym. Yeah. Do you see that? I'm noticing that a lot more. It's not everyone, but I'm seeing a lot more common than I did.
I think it's people are trying to bring that back in a
maybe so.
Because it's so long ago now. It's kind of like, oh, I remember in 2010 when Beats came out.
Yeah, that's true.
Now that's 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's true too. But anyway, all right. So I got those last two out in time. But there you go.
Do we have to set an alarm on the next two we're going to get out in the next 2 minutes?
We'll put an alarm for Heath. We'll give him one. You should have gifted him your alarm clock. He would have treasured it.
The only gift I'm going to give him is not doing a podcast with him.
Wow. That's a gift. All right, folks, let us know about alarm clocks, all the old antiquated technology, your memories of it.
How many alarms does it take before you have to choose what's next?
And we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.